Police station, take care of some banking business. Got notification that my T-Mobile thingy, what do they call it? T-Mobile account. The transaction didn't go through, so I was just shy about like 10-15 bucks. I'm gonna go deposit that in there and make sure that goes through, so they don't cut me off over the next 2 days, because I got some things I want to be on my phone over the next 2 days. I lived out my whole day today and didn't realize that I had miscalculated whether or not I would need to purchase anything in order to have food, because I'm not going to be going anywhere tomorrow, and maybe not Monday either. I may be in the house for both of those days. So I got some drafts scheduled and some different things that I got scheduled that are going to kind of keep me either in the house or trying to get them done while I'm on the road. So I just want to reserve the ability to say, you know what, if I have to stay home, I can. And so that's what this is right now, me going out late. It's like 5:45, because I didn't actually realize this until I woke up from my daytime nap. I did a little laundry today, did a lot of music, siphoning through and all of this different stuff, and it took a nice little nap. Woke up thinking I was gonna just eat and maybe do a little workout or whatever, and I realized, yo man, you got stuff you gotta purchase. So I'm like, let me go to Target. And then I realized, nah, you also need to make sure that money's in there so that they don't cut your phone off. So it's like, man, I gotta go down there and do that too. And so it's a lot of stuff I gotta do right now that should have been done throughout the day. But to be honest with you guys, I'm actually happy I'm doing it this hour, because it's cooler. It was a little hot today, and I just didn't feel like really getting out doing all of this today. But it's cooled off. Of course, it's gonna be night by the time I get home, but I honestly don't mind today. I'm just gonna do all that I have to do. I'm not sure if I want to go down to the local Trader Joe's or not. I'm not really sure. I kind of could use some rice, but I can kind of live without it too. Kind of could use some more steak, but I can kind of live without it too. So it's one of them things where you like, we'll see. I'll play it by ear, because walking all the way to the police station, you might as well walk to Traders. But I also have to go to Target, so it's like, this is going to be one of the things where I'm not going to get home till dark, and I'm certain of that. But and it's a lot of walking when you do this type of thing. But you know, as is, I could use the exercise tonight, and so I'm gonna do this rare occasion where I actually do all of these things at once. Now, it would be great if the Target at that's nearest to the Trader Joe's actually had the stuff that I need. It'd be great, but they don't sell the oatmeal that I need. And that's the whole purpose of me going to Target. So if I can't get what I need, why, you know, stopping there because it's local doesn't solve my problem. So yeah, I could do the Hollywood thing, but that's gonna take a little longer. I'd like to stay in this area at least to some degree, because I left the food on. I made food before I left the house, and it usually takes about an hour for it to cook, and it can simmer and sit for an extra hour. So a lot of times I'll let that thing sit for 2 hours, 2.5 hours anyway. So all things remaining equal, it's not going to change anything as far as of my cooking. So yeah, last time I made this trip, I left the key in the house and made sure I got the key in my pocket right now. And you know, I feel pretty solid, man. That daytime nap really helped heal some soreness that it came from all the workout and I've been doing, and different things that I've been kind of sore about over the last couple of days. So I feel 100% and ready to get some things done. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those days where it just didn't work the regular routine at all. Did a little different type of thing today, and you know, I feel good about it. Sometimes it's good to have a different day than what you normally have. Routine is manageable, but breaking out of that routine, I understand is very good, especially for someone like myself. So that's what this is, man. This is me taking care of all the different things that need to be done in the daytime, at dusk, or whatever they call this, when the sun goes down. So this ain't dusk. Dusk is in the morning, right? It's like 5 a.m., whatever. You get the point. But yeah, man, what's going on out there? Music, man. Music. I've been siphoning through a lot of music, and to be honest with you, I haven't siphoned through a whole lot of black music. I've been going through the alternative route and, you know, different rock type music lately, and that ain't normally what I would do. That's not like how I usually do it. But, you know, I've come to a conclusion about black music right now that it's conditional to them being able to reach the masses in a lot of cases, because the people behind the music do not care for the music. It's really about whether or not the artist can reach the quota. And to a point, pop music is that way too, but I don't find that is necessarily the culture of modern alternative music and modern rock music. They tend to have a bit more substance. It tends to be more talent featured because they're not pouring as much marketing dollars and marketing focus into that music. It's less commercial, so it's a bit more authentic. It's a bit raw. It's just more love poured into it from the artist and less pressure for them to be successful, for which a lot of formulas aren't utilized in that music. As to where rap music, it's a lot of formulas in place. It's a gimmick behind a lot of it. It's a propaganda-based energy that's meant to mold my people a certain way. And the older I get, the less interested I am in hearing those reused formulas. Since I've made so many playlists over the last, say, 7 years, I've worn myself out of some of those formulas. I'm not interested in some of those songs anymore. And then when you listen to what they're talking about, I'm even less interested in what they're talking about. So it gets to a point where it's like, that doesn't really move me anymore. I'm looking for different vibes and different things that I'm just not finding in rap music at all. You know, and I do genuinely just think that I'm worn out of it. And we're not in the greatest time for it. And so that's really what it is for me. I just kind of ventured away from black music. Not because I don't love my music. I have black eardrums, but we're just not in a space right now where I feel like the music that I'm listening to, that I'm clicking on, really catches my ear. If I click on it, it's like, I don't want to hear this. It's not very well done. It sounds, like I said, it sounds conditional. Those who are investing in the music, they just want it to be more or less successful. And in turn, it's commercial. In turn, it ain't very good. And so that's what I'm finding, man. And you find that in some rock music and pop music too. Don't get it twisted. You'll find them formulas. I clicked on a couple artists. I'm like, yeah, they're trying to push this person. But it seems like the more the machine's behind them, these days, for me, the less I'm interested in them. And so that's what's been going on. That has taken me into a space where I'm not even listening to black music. I'm listening to white music. I'm listening to alternative music. I'm listening to dance music. I'm listening to African music to a degree. Even though some of the Afro beats are also reused formulas a lot of times, but I found myself in the alternative space a good portion of this year. And so if you listen to my playlist and you hear my playlist sound like that, this is why. When black music starts sounding like I want it to sound, or they introduce a sound that I haven't heard, or if something good that I just flat out like is there, of course I'm gonna use it. But I've been clicking on stuff this year, and I think it's been a good year for music, but not necessarily a great year for our music. Not necessarily. We've had some good rap come back. It's been the resurgence of good rap. But I've never been a huge fan of rap. If that sounds strange to y'all, I'm more of a melodic person. I like melodic rap. I grew up on Bone Thugs. I grew up on, you know what I mean? It has to have some type of melody to it, to a degree. I don't really love spoken word. I grew up appreciating a lot of rap artists and rap cadences, and there was an era in my life where I really loved rap. But to start my life, I didn't really like rap. I didn't really start liking rap till I was about 7 or 8 years old, 9 years old. Before that, it was about Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown, melodic R&B artists and stuff like that. It's what I genuinely liked. So You know, it's like now that I've almost come full circle to where I ain't really all that interested in rap. I don't really care for it. It's lacking in melody a lot of times. And to a point, I think the development of attention to detail as it pertains to cadence and timing, these guys are just not as attention to detail when it comes to that in a lot of cases. Like I said, when you grow up on Bone Thugs, you're listening to people that have the ability to make their voices percussion instruments, and people, they're not really like that right now. And so for me, it's like I don't really care for rap too much, not to my core. I've grown up loving rap, and like I said, I grew up on rap, and there was a time where rap was all I listened to, and I really enjoyed it. But now that I'm listening to a lot of what I'm hearing today, it ain't moving me like it's moving a lot of people. I don't care for it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just don't. It ain't my vibe right now. So, you know, that's really what I was thinking about while I was in the shower just now. It's just how rap is at a disconnect for me. I think, or rather, the disconnect is between those who are investing in the music and the artists, to where because then that's not their culture, and because they don't particularly care for the people or relate to the stories, it's very conditional to them being able to reach the masses and meet number quotas. And as a result, people want to be safer and use number formulas. People tend to venture toward negative concepts and just different things that I've outgrown. I'm not trying to fake like I'm tough anymore. You feel me? So it's like, and music ain't hitting for me. That's not my real life. You know, that's not my real life. When you're comfortable faking and you want to fake or you want to pretend you're something you're not, you can tend to venture toward cultures that define other people that you're influenced by. And you start getting to a point in your life where that's not you, and you know that's not you. You're not influenced by others, but more so yourself. You tend to find yourself going away from things that are not yourself. And that's really what it is. So the disconnect for me is understanding that my music that comes from my culture doesn't represent myself in a lot of cases. I'm not out here trying to get into the club messing with a bunch of women. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not out here trying to sell drugs or shoot at my ops and nothing like that. I'm not confused. Black people are not my enemy. You know, it's just a lot of stuff that's in the music. I'm not particularly into drugs, whether selling it or taking it. I don't even smoke weed anymore. So it's like, if I'm gonna listen to that stuff, then I have to be influenced by something that I'm not. And in this era of my life, I'm not. So what purpose does it hold? If it ain't creating inspiration melodically in me, then it's really just not for me. And that's where we at. That's just where I found myself to be. It's very immature as well. You know, you got a lot of sounds that maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago were new to me. So I like the sound because it was new. Those formulas are still being used. Those concepts are still in these songs. It's dated at this point. A lot of the music that I've been listening to is, at this point, I've already used all them sounds. Some of the mumble rap type, you know, music that comes from these kids that are like maybe 15, 20 years younger than me, I've already grown out of their sound. I wasn't raised in their sound. It's not my sound. And now that I've heard it for about 7 years, I don't care to hear it no more. So that's also a part of it. I don't think their sound has changed very much in the last 6, 7 years. And so when you put all that together, for somebody who's listened to so much music, made so many playlists, mastered my style of playlist curation, it gets to a point where you just want to start listening to different sounds. You want to find different vibes. You don't want to keep making the same playlist over and over again. And if the artists aren't doing that version of the music very well, then it's just it makes no sense to make that part of your music journey. And so that's where I'm at, man. That's where my head is. I just, as a curator, somebody who considers himself to be very, very don't know what the word would be, but I put a lot of hours into making playlists over the years and blending sounds and stuff like that. I'm not amused by a lot of what I'm hearing out there. I ain't amused. I'm going elsewhere, and I've been finding things that I like. In fact, a lot of it. And that's kind of where my playlist taste is right now. It's just elsewhere. And as I continue to go on this journey, who knows, it may bring me back to rap. I reserve the right to change my mind, but it's just where I'm at right now. I just ain't finding none of these vibes. And some of this new rap music and new R&B and new hip hop, it's not. A lot of it is not for me. And so, yeah, man, I'm moving on from that, and thank everybody for allowing me to speak about my interests. But, you know, I think what else is going on in the world? Today, I ain't really paid much attention to anything that I normally pay attention to. I did see some stuff in Gaza that was terrible as usual. Some more gore out of there, children being unalived and stuff. That's an everyday thing. As I was telling y'all in my last therapy session, that has become, unfortunately, normal to see. And that doesn't mean you want to belittle what's taking place there in any way, but if you just see it for 2 years straight, it doesn't become abnormal anymore to see that. Some of those images, you expect to see it. You're almost shocked when you do not see it. And that's really what Israel has done to the Palestinian people, and ultimately to all of us who are watching. They made this very normal, and unfortunately, now that we go forward, you know, we haven't seen any slowdown to it. We haven't seen anything that would make it so that you feel like, yeah, we're getting to a point where we're not seeing this anymore. No, we're still seeing it every day. And you shake your head and you just keep using your voice, try to continue on this fight, man. Ask for the ability to be effective is what I ask for. Ask the man upstairs to make me effective in fighting this in the way that he would choose to allow me to. And the fight continues. We will not stop. We will not accept this. No matter how normal it may seem, we will always keep our humanity intact. And you know, Israel can continue moving in the direction they're going to move, but they're going to take on the proper condemnation that comes with it. They want us to condemn what they consider bad, but I don't adapt to their line of thinking when it comes to morality. My morality is enriched in something that my mother taught me, and then the village that raised me taught me. And to be honest with you, it ain't got nothing to do with Israel's intentions at all. I think, and to a point, Israel has not made themselves anybody that we would respect because they haven't been honest. They've made a culture of being dishonest. And so that takes away further from the credibility of them as well. So their methods allow for them to do whatever it is they're doing, but their methods also create a great deal of hate pointed at them and a great deal of I don't know, they're just not to be taken seriously as it pertains to them being a credible leader in this world. No matter how much money they gain, they're just unwise. They are low in spiritual frequency, no matter how religious they want to seem. At the end of the day, they're just playing victim, lying to people, killing children, and that's basically their legacy, man. That is their legacy. And I don't care how much they gain, how much they own, how much they try to control, how many times they try to, back people into being considered wrong for speaking out against them. They can do whatever they want. They ain't changing the opinion. You can try to silence the opinion by making it illegal for us to speak, but at the end of the day, this is what's in our heads. This is what we think of. We condemn you for all that you do. All of us who are paying attention to this, who are not wrapped in the Hasbara that you ultimately push out there, condemn you. You may control our government, but you do not have the hearts of the people. The people cannot stand you. And we're not confused. A good portion of us are not confused. This is not one man moving in a certain direction. This is an entire movement made up of many people all over the world, not just in Israel, who are intentional in bringing terror to the Palestinian people, and furthermore bringing terror to the rest of us. To be honest with you, everybody who's paying attention to this has been traumatized by this. And so that's really my point of view. I think that, you know, as a person who's grown in this life, as I said in my last conversation, I'm not moved to be anything other than what I am. And as I've grown in my truth, I understand who my enemy is. And it's not anybody that looks like me. It's people out here who are hurting children, who are trying to control us, trying to take our rights away, take our rights of free speech away, control our government, blackmail our Congress, blackmail our president. That's our real enemy. It's not somebody on the street who throws up a different sign than you or wears a different flag than you. We got real enemies out here. It ain't somebody who may have took your girl or something like that. No, that person doesn't have the type of power that your real enemy has. Your real enemy, he's trying to control entire governments. He's trying to take the money that you are making, that you're investing in certain places, and he's taking it to inflict pain on other people. He's trying to take different things that make you proud of yourself and spin them in such a way to make it so that you fight with somebody else that's not your enemy at all. This is what he's trying to do. He's trying to have you crash out on people, anybody other than him. And he has our country taking steps backwards in our functioning in a million different ways. That's what Israel's doing. Not only are they destroying the Middle East, but they're destroying racial relations in America. And they're using our elected officials to do it. And those officials have failed us. The system that raises those officials up in that situation, in that culture that they're in, fails us. And I have no interest in being a political figure in any way going forward. And the culture of politics is essentially corruptible. It's bad. I don't, you know, I was talking to you guys about the sport of boxing, and one of the reasons why I'm not interested in the sport of boxing is because it's so damn corrupt and always has been. The sport of politics, I see the exact same way. It's corrupt. It's a corrupt business. You could be a good person, but once you get in that arena, you're gonna play that game the way they play it. And I'm not interested in any of them at this point. Really. There are a few good people up there. They're not playing the game the way they're supposed to, and because of it, they're failing. Unfortunately, those are the good people. That's what the reality is. And I was listening to one of the talking heads, one of the Zionist talking heads. They were essentially saying that, you know, they need to get rid of the 2 Congress people that happen to be Muslim and rage terrorist alerts against them, not because of anything they said or done, it's because they're Muslim. Is that where we really are, America? Is that what we're doing? We're just targeting people because of their race. I thought we had learned lessons that ultimately pull us away from that. And the answer is we have, but when you consider that our country is occupied by a regime of people who essentially thrive off of racism and actually can't function without the presence of racism, then of course we're going to be taking steps backwards as a country trying to move in a direction that they lead us. And so that's what it is. People wonder, why does it seem like we're just taking so many steps backward? It's because our country is occupied by a racist, genocidal regime. And just like Charlie Kirk's version of Christianity, it's religious racism that drives those people. And there are going to be a lot of people who don't like me saying that. I do not find myself confused about whether or not it's true. If you don't want to admit it's true, or you don't see it to be true, and you need somebody to spell it out for you so that you can see it, then that just further shows me that this is, in fact, a devilish entity that has no self-awareness, just like Zionist supremacy. This is why we say that Zionist supremacy and white supremacy are adjacent, if not the same thing. It is white supremacy, the whole thing. They may not be in cahoots with one another necessarily, although they appear to be, They may be on the opposite ends of what they're trying to do in certain things, but at the end of the day, they move with the same principles. The same things that make them thrive on one side also make them thrive on the other. With dividing and conquering, stepping on people of color, pushing people away for their differences, and ultimately playing the victim. This is the same playbook. It's the same playbook. And so I was listening to somebody this morning on Instagram, essentially was saying in the comment section that, you know, Zionist supremacy, Israeli supremacy is the same as American white supremacy. And there was some pushback on that because the people aren't white. Some of these people aren't white, some of them are brown. Some of the people out here who are pushing white supremacy aren't white. It's quite the same. It doesn't change anything. There are white people who are very much against white supremacy. It's not that. That's not that simple. It requires you to do a lot more searching to find the truth about what that actually is, rather than just say, well, the skin isn't represented there. The skin ain't necessarily represented in this. You got a lot of people of color, Spanish people that's moving hard for white supremacy, black people moving hard for white supremacy. Like, it's not just about skin, man. It's an ideology adapted to push forth further white supremacy. It's about making it so that the majority of the people who are in charge of this earth are white. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's only white people pushing that agenda forward. It just means that the point is to assure that the majority of wealth and the majority of power are in white hands, controlled by white 1%ers. And people who are of color or of a different ethnicity ultimately will not harbor the power because of it. You see how that works? It's not just about white people being up top. No, it's just about making sure the people who are on top are white. It ain't about making sure that everybody white is on top. No, it's just making sure that the people who are the 1%ers who have the majority of wealth are white. Some sort of it. Whether it be Zionist white, American white, some type of European white, something like that, but not of color. If this goes the way it's supposed to go, the way it wants it to go, you won't see any black trillionaires. Not before you see white 4 and 5 times trillionaires. You see what I'm saying? That's the purpose. And the way I see it is, the higher up you go, the more you see the evidence of that. These factions agree with one another at the top. And the bottom, a lot of them don't even know that they're in agreement with one another. They don't really understand that this is all one faction, more or less. But the higher up you go, you see the people in cahoots with one another. It ties at the top. And it lands in different spaces on the bottom. That's why people out here, and American white people don't necessarily understand that they are, in fact, just like the Israel white supremacy. They don't see it that way. The common people don't necessarily look at it that way. But the further up you go, and we're seeing this with our Congress, we're seeing this with our government, the further up you go, the closer those factions become. The more locked in you see with them with one another. And so this is what it is. There's no separation. It's just that the people on the bottom don't necessarily see the connection. They don't benefit from the connection in a lot of cases. They are separate, maybe even at odds with one another. But the higher up you go, the more you come to understand that this is all just one single white supremacy movement with different legs, different arms, and different wings of itself. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's no difference between America, what America used to be when it was first getting started, and what Israel's trying to do right now. There's no difference. Same thing. And so that's what I'm trying to get people to see and pay attention to this. For the last 2 years, you become aware that you're not looking at anything that isn't normal. as it pertains to white supremacy, this is what it's always been. It's always looked to steal land, play the victim, control, set the laws after breaking all the laws to establish what it has, control its own people and sacrifice its own people in the name of trying to keep itself going, and manipulating people as a strategy, lying to people as a strategy, denying people freedoms as a strategy, pitting people against one another as a strategy. Like, this is all the same playbook. This is the colonial playbook. Using religion as a means of making it ironclad so that people will follow it no matter what. Same playbook, man. Same. This is what white supremacy does. Assassinating leaders of other countries and then sending in their own people, investing in the deterioration of different countries. You know, giving warring factions endless ammunition to fire at one another, and then picking up the plunder from their fight. It's the same old white supremacy. This is not new. These are things that they have agreed to do 1,000 years ago. No matter what leg of white supremacy is moving, it's always using that playbook. And it's always gonna connect at the top. So that's really what it is I'm here to share, man. And there, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be offended by that. They're gonna resent that. It doesn't matter. Me telling the truth or not, this is what you look at. This is what's out there. People denying it, trying to use mental gymnastics and all these different things, and verbal gymnastics to try to justify whatever. It doesn't matter. That ain't nothing but a little playbook, overused play too. Nothing new. This is all the same old stuff, man. World domination agreed upon thousands of years ago. People not changing their playbook because they have never needed to until right now. This is when they have to change the playbook. And so that's what I'm here to tell people. And you know, at the end of the day, those who don't benefit from it feel like they, in a lot of cases, need to align with it so that it doesn't swallow them up. But like I said, it'll destroy its own people. That Hannibal directive thing is not just a Israeli strategy. That's an entire white supremacy strategy. It will most definitely kill its own people. It most definitely will do that. You will die for it if you allow yourself to line up with it. It may sacrifice you for the betterment of itself. You may not see the finish line of what it is it's trying to do. That's the thing about it. It'll cut off its own arms, legs, whatever it got to do to maintain its power. It'll devastate mothers and children of its own people, so it has no problem sacrificing anyone else's. And that's what it is. That's what makes any type of kamikaze, suicidal entity dangerous, is the fact that it has no problem sacrificing itself. And it's the most dangerous because it doesn't care if it is destroyed or not. To focus on keeping alive its bigger picture. It will sacrifice however many of itself it needs to, so long as that the bigger picture is still intact. And that is what Israeli supremacy is about. They'll sacrifice all their own people, discard the whole generation if necessary, throw them all into the IDF and have them all slaughtered by people who are resisting that energy. That's what they're doing to their own people. That's what America does to its own people. It's been doing that for years. Throwing all of our family members at it, training all of us to have our virtues wrapped up in dying for this country and killing for this country. It's the same playbook. It's white supremacy. It's 101. We will have your virtues wrapped up in being willing to sacrifice your one and only life for the greater good, which is ultimately for the preservation of a stolen land, and the dignity to bear arms against anybody that will otherwise hold us accountable for those actions. That's what it is. So however many of your kids at it, to be able to stand tall on our wrongdoing, and to be able to redefine what wrongdoing means, so that we can stand above the fray regardless of what it is we have to do so. That's what it is. It's accepted long time ago that it would kill all of its children if it meant keeping all of its power. That's what white supremacy really is. And a lot of anybody, it'll exalt its own people despite being willing to destroy them. Make them think like they're the most powerful, the center of the universe, everything's catered to them. They have every intention of killing you. It's letting you slaughter and suffer, or whatever your fate will be. It'll just throw you to whatever your fate will be, to assure that it's able to continue being in power going forward. I tell you all, man. I tell you all. If you're not wise enough to understand what it is I just said to be fact, then you will lose something to this entity. You will lose probably a lot going forward, because it's going to be at war from here on out. It's going to be. And it's going to practically have to destroy the world to keep from being held accountable in this era. And it's not above doing that at all. And its intention is to psychologically demoralize anybody that will oppose it, so that it doesn't have to go through the process of destroying you, or itself to destroy you. It don't want to have to do all the work. It wants you to just self-destruct in its presence, so it can do very little work in defending itself against you. It wants you to think that you can't do anything to it. Like I said, anything to make you feel like it's futile, so that it doesn't have to actually deal with you. It'll use anything it can to protect itself, even though it exposes itself just the same, and it's none the wiser, as we've expressed many times on this channel. I want people to understand my point of view. I don't expect that I can necessarily change the world by myself, or that I'm some solution to this problem. I am one of many weapons that the Lord has used to wake up people, try to save as many people from further damage and manipulation that this thing is going to do. Wake people up is what I'm trying to do. Align people with what it is that I see, in hopes of saving people from this thing, man. From hopefully making it so that somebody much smarter than myself, much more capable than myself, is able to reach more people than I'm able to further that message. That's really the point. It's not about me being some solution or me being exalted for something. I don't particularly find myself driven by that at all. If I can change one mind or two minds, or sparks one mind to think about what's going to spark more minds, that's good enough for me. I leave the rest up to God, man. I'm not trying to change the world by myself, nor do I think it's my job to do so, not by any long shot. And I want people to understand that as they listen to me, as they continue to see me use my voice. God's in control of all of this. I don't really care about how much damage I do to the enemy, just that I'm doing what the Lord wants me to do with my time. It's his job to destroy the enemy, not mine. And as I go forward, I suspect that I'll be very successful in doing that. And so, align yourself with truth, everybody. Get active, get understanding in your heart. Have self-awareness, self-control in a higher frequency than what you're taught. Look for that, seek that in your mind, in your heart. Allow compassion to be your true north, and understand that psychological warfare is only harmful if you're reacting to it. That if you understand the place being run against you, then it can really do minimal damage to you if you're not doing anything to work against yourself in response to it. Bdf 44, and I thank you all for watching.